This is Roger with Kinetics in Tucson, Arizona. We're selling this truck. It is a 2003 Ford F250 Super Cab. That's a four-door extra cab. Long bed, 7.3 liter turbo diesel with Lariat package, which is leather. Yeah, it is the 03 with a 7.3, so it's the first half of 03. And it still has a 7.3, and it's four-wheel drive. It's on a clear title, has 195,000 miles. It was a theft recovery. Purchased directly from an insurance company in Texas. It came here. We do a big inspection on them. Takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We take the wheels off, and basically we come up with this at the end. I'll run through what we did to it. Test drive revealed that we needed to replace front sway bar links and front shocks, which we did. We replaced the injector control pressure valve, and fuel gauge did not work, so we replaced the fuel sender. We also replaced the serpentine belt, did a oil change, air filter was replaced, both rear brake pads and rotors were done, rear brakes and rotors. Blah, 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 blah. That's all the same thing. We also replaced the windshield, it had a crack in it, and that's that. Alright, so now you know what happened with the repairs in this truck. Some basic maintenance stuff, but that's what we do. Anyway, I'm going to walk around and show you what's going on here. Cosmetically, it was apparent that it belonged to some sort of a painter or somebody in the painting business, because we had to actually wet sand it. At our detail shop, had to wet sand it to get a bunch of paint off of it. It's still a white truck that was a work truck, so it still shows a bunch of little nicks and dings and scratches and stuff. It has a beautiful set of tires. The tires all the way around it are probably 80 or 90% tread, maybe more. But it's got this type of rock chips on the hood. I don't think it would be worth doing much more than maybe taking to Mako if you cared enough. I wouldn't do anything with it. It's a 7.3. It's the last couple months of a 7.3 ever being made. And those are the new shocks that we put on the front. I would just leave it the way it is and keep driving it and go forever. There's a ding here, a couple things here. Behind the wheel, you've got that going on. And so you're not buying this thing for the looks. You're buying it for the great motor. And it's four-wheel drive. It's missing a little plastic cap that goes on top of the tailgate. This is not an unusual thing to be missing. There's a tow package. There's your lights there. There's a spare to get rear brakes, pads and rotors. It does have a gooseneck hitch in the bed. Obviously, you can pretty much tell it would belong to a painter because of the way the bed liner looks. If you want to get a bed liner, just cut out a hole for the gooseneck. Bed liners are probably it depends on long bed, probably $150. We used to pay $129 for them, but I think they went up a little bit. Thing there. Well, there'll be before and after pictures in our. There'll be like 4 pictures of what it looked like when we first bought it, just so you know that it wasn't crashed when we got it. None of that stuff's going on here. It's just it was just filthy and needed a few mechanical things done. Getting an oil change, getting a new air filter, sway bar links, rear pads and rotors. Alright, let's see. There's your Ford stamp on the passenger fender. There's your Ford stamp on the passenger core support. There's your Ford stamp on the driver core support. There's the Ford stamp on the driver fender. There's your 7.3. Alright. Obviously they stole the center console, which is not unusual. actually not too bad. Little chunk of carpet missing there. Walk around the other side, make sure the windows and everything work. Although I know they do. I do know that the mirrors do not work. Power mirrors do not work. They worked before they went to detail, and now they don't. So it's likely a switch that needs to be replaced. We will look into that. But for now, assume that it's going to be sold with mirrors that aren't working. Right there. Paint on here. That stuff's not coming off. It's a work truck. It's a nice work truck. Someone paid a lot of money for this work truck. I'm not sure what handle goes there, but it's not there. They stole the center console. Door locks. There you go. Driver mirror. Window. Passenger window. I'm told these don't work, and that is true. And they both worked before they went to detail, and now neither of them work, so it's going to be the switch. Obviously, both of them don't break at the same time. The mirrors themselves, so it's going to be a switch. The seats actually are in pretty good shape. Wheel, that works fine. You can feel overspray. He was doing whatever paint he had. There's quite a bit of overspray all over this truck, so just know that there's, you can probably see a little bit of it, even on the cluster for some. 195,618 miles. Overdrive off and on. Let's see, the air's blowing ice cold. Cup holder. Let me move this thing up a little bit so I can demonstrate the, well, that wants a seatbelt, doesn't it? Alright, I can do that. There. Alright, let's see. Put it in neutral. Now we're in 4 low. Put it in drive. That's definitely 4 low. Put it in reverse. Reverse, 4 low, put it in neutral, 4-wheel high, now we're in 4 high, and that's drive, this is reverse. Okay, so 4 high and low work fine. 2-wheel drive, let's go for a ride. Alright, this thing's been sold on a clear title, so no need for any inspections. So if you come to Tucson to drive it home, you're going to pay a dock fee of $250. You're going to pay taxes. Taxes are 2% city sales tax here in Tucson, plus whatever your state tax rate is. We have a lot of people who fly down from Alaska. Their state tax rate is 0. So when they come down here, they pay 2% tax and $250 dock fee. If your tax rate in your state is 3%, you would pay a total of 5% tax and $250 dock fee if you come down here to drive it home. If you pay by wire and ship, no tax, no dock fees, just pay the agreed upon price. We notarize the title, scan in the envelope we send it in, and the notarized title into your online file for the truck, and we send it out the minute we get full payment. There's a shipper that we use for our shipping, bringing us vehicles from all over the country. His name is Fred at Beacon Shipping Logistics. His number is in the middle of our ad. Give him a call if you'd like to use him. His prices are very reasonable. They're right in the middle. And if you don't use them, at least give him a call so you know that whoever you're working with is okay and that the price is reasonable. He can sniff out a rat pretty good. So even if you don't use him, he's more than willing to help you not make a mistake. Okay? Let's see, deposits. $500 deposit will stop the vehicle from being sold to somebody else. Once we have an agreed upon price, please get your deposit in. Once we have a deposit, we'll put your name and a banner over the truck at wheelkinetics.com, and you'll know it's yours. Until then, it's for sale. We do not hold cars for people based on their word. Okay? Blah, blah, blah. What else do we need to know? This is actually a pretty nice little truck. This overhead cluster, I wonder if that works. Maybe it's just the dimmer switches down. No, it doesn't work. Those things are $29 if you want to buy that little digital display. They sell them on eBay for like $29, and you buy like 9 of them, and that'll get you through a year. That's how dependable they are. That's why we don't replace those. We don't replace parking sensors, tire monitor sensors, that, or rear power window sliders, because they're all notoriously bad parts, and they just break immediately anyway. Okay, well, I can't rear in this guy. I'd probably send him into the next area code if we hit him with this truck. Anyway, it runs good. It's a 7.3. It shifts fine. There's no slippage at all. Runs good. We did the air filter and the oil change, rear brakes, front shocks. That's about it. And a windshield. We also had to wet sand the truck to get some of the overspray off the truck from the guy's previous painting business. Anyway, the end of this thing, I always say this about all my vehicles, all the vehicles that we sell at Wheel Kinetics, say the same thing. This thing is way out of warranty. The people who built this truck didn't know what was going to happen after a certain number of miles, a certain number of years, and so that's why warranties expire. If they knew what was going to happen, if they knew it was going to be fine after a certain number of miles or a certain number of years, for sure, they would extend the warranty to 200,000 miles and sell the truck for $10 or $20 or $30,000 more than they did. But they don't know, okay? If they don't know what's going to happen, and they built it, there's very little reason to expect us to know what's going to happen to this truck a week from now, a month from now, or 5 years from now. So, if you're afraid of taking risks, do not ever buy anything used, whether it's a microwave oven, a truck, or a piece of furniture, because once you own it, it's yours, okay? There's a lot of value in here. 7.3s are famous. We know that. Everyone knows that, but it doesn't mean they're not going to break. We all also know that every vehicle ever made ends up in the scrapyard eventually. So, if you're not willing to say to yourself that I'm saving a bunch of money and sooner or later I'm going to have to spend some of that money to fix something, then you need to go buy a new one. And a new one of this extra cab Lariat diesel 4x4 is probably about 45 or 50,000, somewhere in that area. So just keep that in mind. Let's please deal in reality here. It's a heck of a value for a famous motor in a famous truck. An F250 with a 7.3 and a 4x4 doesn't get any better than that as far as the powertrain is concerned. But I want you to be informed, I want you to know what you're buying, and I want you to be reasonable, okay? Thank you very much for your time.